This tutorial is straight to the point. Here is my HTML page. I want to create a new user using django-rest-framework. So what happens is it has to get the user email, the user first name, the user last name, the gender, the first password and the second password. The password number 1 has to equal password number 2. Okay, so in my serializer, I've already created my serializer, but I will explain each and everything to you so you could understand what I'm trying to do or what I've done. So I've created a serializer called create user serializer. Okay, I prefer using serializer than model serializer. The reason is it's easier for me to manipulate serializer compared to model serializer. So here, these are the inputs I'm supposed to collect: password 2, password, email, gender, last name, and first name. So you could see here there is a function, as you can see, there is a function which has to validate password 2 and password. So what happens here is it gets the password 2, which is the value, okay, and gets password, which is data.getPassword. This is their expression which validates to make sure that password equals to password 2. I have to rename all these things. It's making it very difficult for me to call. So let me just put it password 1. Alright. So what happens here is it validates to make sure that password 1 equals to password. Or let me just put like this so to be easier for me. So I put it password 1, password 2. Okay, I think it's much better. Okay, now I think it's more clearable. So I have to go to my HTML page to make sure each and everything has been changed. So I go to the form in the HTML page. I have to look where their password is and change the name. If not, I'll get an error. So I've changed it to password 1. And also I have to change this in the view. So this is my API view. This API view handles all my APIs. I also have a view here. I could also put my functions here, but I chose to make another view called APIs view because this will handle all my APIs, and this view will handle all my regular Django functions. So here I have a view called create user view. This is a function that I have called create user. This function is a view that accepts just a post request. So what happens is I call my serializer, create user serializer, request.data, which is same to request.post in Django's form. So here it validates the data to make sure that the data is valid. If this data is valid, it will get the email address of the user, get the last name of the user, get the first name of the user, get the gender of the user, get the password. I have to change it to the first password and get the first password of the user, and the user object is being created. You see, I have made a custom user object. This I have a user model called custom user. So this is it in my model. Let me go to my models. Models.py. this is my models.py. It is a custom user model. If you have no idea of setting up a custom user model, you can check out my first tutorial and you will see how to create a custom user model. So what actually happens is I create a user, custom user.objects.create, and it gets all these values. You see, this is where my user has been created. So now I get an instance of that user that has been created and set the password, which is from here. Set the password here, and the user has been saved to the database. It is simple. So now let me just try out to log in with a user, or let me try creating a user, a new user, using what we have done. If there's an error, we do correct it. So what I will do is that I'll try creating a new user to test if what I've created is working. There's a problem. The password is not supposed to show. Okay, so there is a problem in the HTML. See, the type has to be password. So I change it here. Remember, because I did change it in the serializer. Change it here, and also I have to change it here. If not, it will run to an error. It will run into an error. Okay, everything is running fine. Let's test it out to make sure. Okay, there is a bad request. There's an error, and I'm sure the error has been gotten because I've changed a lot of things here which I have not updated. Password 1. Okay. Okay, I think this should be the error. Return password 2. Okay, let's try again. Okay, the user has been created. Let's check if this user has been created. You see, this is a user. The user has been successfully been created. So what I will do, I'll try to log out. I will change this user as the admin, right? I'll try to log out and log in using this user to verify if actually user has been created, or this user has been created successfully. So let me log in again. You see, which means the user has been created successfully.